Hey guys, and welcome to Whatever Wednesday Part 2. Yeah, last time I finally introduced this format to you, and if you haven't watched this video yet, please make sure to do so, because otherwise you don't know what I'm going to talk about today, or maybe what this format is about. I'm not going to tell you again what this is about, because today I want to make use of this new format on my channel, and this is yeah, what I'm going to show you today, or maybe talk about, is something I've been looking for such a long time, basically since the moment where I realized that I'm really going to do YouTube, and that I'm really going to have a little audience listening to it. And I'm mostly aware of the fact that not many people will watch this video, well, in comparison to the other videos I have from Planet Coaster, for example. I'm not going to tell the whole story again, why this is something else. I'm just going to do this video today because I just want to do it. I just want to do it for so long, and today I'm going to do it. So basically, this format will be my very first top 5 video, and I'm not too sure about if I'm going to do this anyway soon again. And I just called it top 5 because it's I could have named top 50, to be honest, and you already know from the title that this will be my top 5 trends in digitalization. And well, it's basically, it's not digitalization, it's just development and progress in our digital world in general. And it's so important. And just to mention this before, this is very subjective. It's my own opinion. You might have totally different trends and topics you're interested in, but I just want to show you these and give you a little bit of my thoughts about those topics. Also, I will drop down some images so that you can get a little bit of inspiration what I'm talking about. I will take them from different sources. Just yeah, I will then link down the sources if I've got enough time. Maybe if I have not enough time, I will do it later on, because people should get credit for what they posted. I will also provide you with the links to the different topics. Of course I will do. I'm not going to copy anything and show this as mine, because all you will see, it's nothing is made by me, of course. It's just, I'm just talking about stuff that's going on in this world right now, and what will shape our future in what way ever. And I'm going to talk about the positive, just aspects of it, and possibilities and opportunities. So without further ado, let's jump into topic number 1. So here we are with exoskeletons. Some of you, because this channel is mainly gaming related right now, so maybe let's just start with an example, which is a completely over-the-top example, but this shows what it might lead us to. And this is the game Crisis, back then from 2007, where the soldiers got like a nanosuit, which is basically an exoskeleton. That time back then in the game, it worked with nanotechnology and injections into your body, but those skeletons I'm going to talk about do work in a similar way, but just they don't work with nanotechnology, which will be a fact in the future, but they basically work with hydraulics. And it's basically, you can see a lot of examples already working. You may already know people that do profit from exoskeletons, because it's not just a full body suit. It can also be just a little bit like a prosthesis for your arm. If somebody has lost his arm or never has had an arm, there could be like an artificial arm, and that can be linked to your body by hydraulics, which will be then linked to your body system, and you will be able to control your arm just naturally from your thoughts, from your brain, and from your nerve system. So that will be really brilliant for people who are disabled and people that do suffer from disease where it's where there's no other possibility than take away parts of your body, so they can get the same feel of life as they had before, just with the help of exoskeletons. In those pictures I've put you down into the video, you will see they are, at the moment, they're really huge. They are just big parts. You do see them because they're just linked to your body, and it's you're looking like kind of a cyborg. But in the future, and this is still a thing today, you won't look like a soldier or like a cyborg or something like this. It will be really yeah, good implemented or well implemented in your clothes, or maybe in your trousers or something like this, so you will barely see it and it will help you. And just going a little step ahead, it will not just help people who are disabled or who just lost their parts of their body for whatever reason, it will also help older people. So if we are getting older, and we all will, then we will have maybe the possibility to get an exoskeleton to keep some quality of our life. So for example, imagine that your grandpa, your grandmother, or maybe your dad, or maybe you're yourself, I don't know who's watching this, but there will be a day where you're not that fit as you are today, and you can't walk as you have been for years, and so then there is the point where you might have, or you might want to have help, and this is where help can come from. And of course today those exoskeletons are not affordable for anybody of us, except you're a millionaire. But anyway, it's, you know, but in the future it's the same with big screen TVs, which 10 years ago you might not have thought that you will have a 65-inch TV screen in your living room, but today you have, for a really low price. And in the future this will be as well a fact, that you will be able to afford exoskeleton as this. It will be like the same as a wheelchair, you know. And this is basically something really, really great, and I'm really much looking forward to the usage in terms of medicine and help for elders, basing on exoskeletons. That should be it for this topic, so let's jump into the second one. So here we are with the second topic, and the second topic is maybe the topic which is the most easy to understand for all of you out there, because what I'm going to talk about is something you all do have in your pocket, and this is basically a smartphone. And there are not there's not such a small number of people who are already telling that the age of the smartphones as we do know them today is about to be over. And I'm also supporting this opinion, because I think we are about to see this era of smartphones coming to an end very soon. So by saying very soon, I'm talking of the next 3 or 4 years, where the current version of the smartphones will be dead. So today it's very normal to have this pretty standardized smartphone, about 4.7 to 6 inches, somewhere between this, really in a really, yeah, like iPhone-ish, I just call it, a body with everything on its place. Everybody knows, everybody has a good camera, and let's be honest, guys, it doesn't matter if you got an iPhone, if you got an HTC, if you got a Samsung or Huawei or whatever, at least they're all pretty fast. They have a pretty decent processor, they have a pretty amazing camera, and for like 99% of the usage of an average person, all of those are great. They all do their job. Some of them might be better in camera or in audio and something like this or something like that, but in general, you know, they are all on a level that is pretty equal if you just take it as the thing which it is. It's a smartphone which can help you in your everyday life with a lot of things, like the Google search engine, with like a translator in your pocket, with a calculator. And I will put down an image of this pretty well-known image, which is displaying all the stuff which is in a smartphone today, which you've had multiple devices for in the past. So this is something which you have to keep in mind, that your smartphone in general is a pretty good thing, and it doesn't matter if you got the latest iPhone or not. They are pretty much the same in terms of what they can deliver or not. Anyway, really interesting is that in the near future we will have different smart devices which are able to deliver the same stuff, but on a very different way, or in a very different way. And I also will put down some images of current trends. So there's, for example, this little bracelet which has a projector in it, which is basically doing nothing else than just beaming your smartphone screen, which you're used to have on your smartphone, onto your arm, which is in the first few seconds really ridiculous if you look at it, and you just got it on your arm, and what you're going to do with it, what the hell is going on. But then if you just spend a few more minutes on it, you think, well, it's a pretty amazing idea, because it's like your arm, you've got it with you all the way down. You've got your arm there. It's simply there, you know, and you just handle it naturally, and you don't need to carry on a big device, but just a bracelet. The second thing is that touching your hand and arm is also feeling very natural, as if you would touch a screen, so there's no big difference. But what is really more interesting is, I mean, nowadays smartphones also are waterproof for the most of them, and I was always thinking, why the hell should I have like a waterproof phone? I don't need it. I mean, I'm not going to swim with it. I'm not going to take a shower with it. For what reason? I don't know. But with this bracelet, there's kind of a new usage to it, because you just can't use it everywhere and at every time, without even having too much problems in terms of health issues. We will have to see what about the values of the different signals within this bracelet, but in terms of connectivity, it could be changed slightly so that the device is just connecting outwards and not toward the arm. But anyway, what I was pointing at is that the idea to just touch your arm and having your screen projected to your arm is pretty amazing, because you just naturally would use it. And it's just my personal opinion, but it would be a tendency to use your phone less, because it would be ridiculous to always touch your arm and go, and you know, it's just, you would just use it if you really need it. That would kind of change the entire way of using it, because maybe then you've got additionally, for example, like headphones which are sticked into your ear, so like these little earphones that your earplugs, or they're called earplugs, I guess they are. You can put them down into your ear and maybe get also, for example, translations instantly if you're just communicating with somebody in a different language, or for example, stuff like that. And there are plenty possibilities about this bracelet. Another trend, which is pretty different in terms of how it looks, but in the terms of usage, it's a pretty similar one. It's kind of like a Lenovo, I guess, was the first one to have an example phone of this. It's like a bendable phone, which is not just bendable for the sake of being bendable. For example, like the Edge displays from the Samsung Galaxy S7 and Note Edge, for example, when they first introduced it, they've got a it's not bendable in the way, it's just, you know, it's just curved, and there's no function to it which I would call really an added value. I mean, yeah, you can do fancy stuff with it, it looks amazing, no doubt about it, but there's no real added value. But when displays and phones really get bendable and you can stretch them around your arm as if it would be a watch, and then just if you need a smartphone or a tablet, just grab it from your arm, take it onto your table and lay it down, like for example newspaper, and just use it as a phone or as a tablet nowadays, that would be a great addition, because then you can carry it as a watch on your arm and then just get it away. I think it's more easy to look at the pictures which I put down in the video than you are about to see what I'm talking about. Anyway, that should be it for smartphones, because I could talk about this for hours and hours, but I don't want to make that really video too long, because we still have 3 more topics to go, and there's also so much in it. So let's jump right into the next one. And here we are with the third topic, which is augmented reality, which might sound not too fancy because all of you already have heard about it, I'm pretty sure about this. Augmented reality, in comparison to virtual reality, is not like an added world which you're going to show people. It's an addition to our actual world, which is, from my taste, a little bit more useful than virtual reality in the first glance for our everyday life. Virtual reality has also a lot of advantages, but I'm not going to talk about those right here. I'm just talking about what augmented reality could help us with. And the first thing, I don't know if any of you has already tested the Microsoft HoloLens. I've done it a few weeks ago, and I must say I'm pretty impressed, because I have had it on, I guess, 3 years ago, and I was not impressed at all. It was like the first beta version of it. It was not powerful. It was kind of, I don't know, gulpy. I can't really say anything about it. It was really bad. And then it was a few weeks ago on a fair trade, and I just said, whatever, I just tried again. And I was so damn impressed. It added so much to the world around you. Like, you've got little holographs all the way around. You could just grab them, you could just hold them in your hands, swipe it to the right, swipe it to the left. You've got a menu on your in your view area, so to say. So in your viewport there was like the menu, and you could take the menu and just swipe and browse through the menu by raising your hand and touching it. And you know, that's pretty strange to explain when you don't see how this works, but it really was like as you just had displayed a little menu to your eye level, so it was like floating in the room. And naturally you would imagine then you could go there with your hand and touch it and move it to the right and to the left. For example, in films like Minority Report and so on, you might have seen this already. And it's pretty much the same. The cool thing about it is that it really feels naturally if you just go there and take your hand and swipe it to the left exactly in... yeah, now it's really complicated to explain. You have to imagine to raise your arm and touch the menu, which is not there, which is just virtually in front of your eyes. But in the surrounding environment, it seems to be on this level where your hand is at the moment, and then you just swipe to the left and swipe to the right and it works. The funny thing is that this HoloLens has also some sensors to just measure where your hand is and so on. And it's really strange how good this works, or how well it's working. It's really strange. I'm really impressed with that. And I guess the possibilities are endless. So, for example, many car manufacturers are already doing this. They have augmented realities in your car. So if you just your front, how's it called, front glass of your car, if you just look through it, there's also an added navigation system in this one. And so when you got the navigation started, it automatically beams the arrows to show the direction where you have to go in the real world. So for example, on the floor you've just an arrow going to the right, as if you would have it in the real world, and it's just, for example, like in a different color, so you know that you have to go there. And it's so amazing. It works pretty well. I've also tested it in a nice car from BMW, and it works fantastic. And not doing any advertisement for them, I'm pretty sure that the one of Audi and from other car manufacturers all around the world will work as well, because the technology is really advanced already, and I think we will see so many important and really deal-breaking stuff, to be honest, in the near future, which we all will deal with as well. So that's it to augmented reality, and let's go straight ahead into the next topic, which is smart home and smart city. I have to be a little bit careful now to explain this in yeah, it's subjective, but I don't want to be too emotional about this, but this is something I'm so much into, and it's also something I've written already 2 papers about from my university. And the basic idea is that we do suffer in most parts of our world. And it doesn't matter if it's like in the middle of Europe, where cities are really rich and people are really rich. I mean, we are rich compared to those people living in really bad areas and suffering from hunger and stuff like this. We are all rich in Europe and also in America and stuff like this, and those cities stuff like that. And cities are also really rich, although they're always complaining about having no money, but they are rich. And even those cities do suffer from so many problems like traffic and waste and trash and overpopulation and all this kind of silly stuff. And there is like there are a few trends going on right now which do help about this. So like you've got a lot of car sharing going on all around the world. They're really successful. You've got Uber as a company which has been really successful in recent years, basically because there is a need to improve our infrastructure, not just from the point of like traffic, but also from the point of waste management, trash management, population management in general and stuff like that. And I'm really looking forward how technology and especially smart, and I am also artificial intelligence can help us getting rid of this problem. Because it's really, you know, there's a German comedian who has made a pretty funny joke about how people do travel nowadays. And I try to translate it now, not word by word, but how he said this one and the meaning. So basically, what he said was like in the 17th and 18th century, people were used to go by horse from Paris to Berlin, you know, and this took like 8 or 9 days. And today, then people got the idea to build a car, and you were able to go from Berlin to Paris in about 1 day. And what did human beings actually do? They built so many cars that it takes again 8 days to get back from Paris to Berlin. So, I mean, with this little, of course, a little bit exaggerated joke, if this is a joke or it's just a big and sad information, you can just imagine what he's hinting at, and I'm supporting this opinion, or this, yeah, it's not an opinion, it's more or less like a status you have to mention, because this is true. It's simply true that our traffic, especially in the Central Europe area, is pretty bad. And first of all, we do have technology to travel really fast and to have a good infrastructure, but we just don't use it, and we are just stupid and just go all by car for like 1 or 2 kilometers, even though it would be really much easier to just grab your bike and just do something for your health. And but we don't do, you know. I'm also not taking myself out. I'm also sometimes going by car to get my shit done just because it's more comfortable. I'm just, you know, we are just stupid, and we need something that's going to change it. And yeah, from my point of view, I guess there has to be something like an incentive or something where you can gain points. For example, a system that guarantees you that if you go by bike, that you are just getting something for it. It's basically because people need something as I just lost the word. How's it called? If you just get a bonus or something like that, just to show you that you did great work. Basically, that's it. What you need. Otherwise, you won't do. People from themselves are not good, and just they don't want to save our environment just from their personal opinion. We do have a few people all around the world who are fighting against environment problems and stuff like that, but you know, those are not the majority. And so that we can just make our planet a better place, we do need people to make something on their own by giving them something back if they do contribute to our entire world and the good things. That's something I'm looking forward, and I guess smart home and smart city technology will help us all to make our cities and our world a better place, in terms of just the sheer management and the sheer handling of trash and of pollution and of traffic, and just simply stuff like that. So yeah, that should be it about this topic. And now let's jump into the last one, which is the most, for me at least, the most important and also interesting one. So here we are in the last topic, and this is smart medicine. I don't know if this is a word for it. I just called it smart medicine because it's like, it's just how the scientific people are just going to work with new technologies, and they're adding smart technologies to it, and so I just called it smart medicine. I don't know if you do find something on Google for it, but I will put down some links which could show you what I'm talking about. But basically, it was a few years ago where I found an article about Google's plans to make a pill which is actually nothing else than a little transponder which is analyzing your blood and in real time giving those informations back to an app. And this app is going to, basing on all the knowledge we do have, it's going to check whether your values of your blood are good or not, or if something is going to change. So that means, in fact, if there is a disease which could be found in a really early stage, and which effectively would mean that you are able to get rid of this disease without doing crazy stuff, would be actually pretty nice. The problem though is that nowadays you would have yeah, you just need to go to the doctors for every few weeks to be able to know that something is going to change in your body. And as we all know, we don't like to go to the doctors. So what this kind of smart medicine could give you is the opportunity to watch your own body better than ever before without going to the doctors and without having a privacy issue, for example. Which is a thing to talk about, because when you're going to have the data and give the data instantly to Google or to whatever company, there is always the question about privacy, you know? But the point I'm going to make now is, if I do have the possibility to, for example, get a little pill, take this pill every 2 weeks, and have an app which is always saying me, okay, you are healthy, it's fine, and then the next day it's telling me, well, you might have just had a little bit too much sugar today, maybe you should stop now, because otherwise you get problems. I can do this, you know, and that's just a nice and little example, but let's take this even further. For example, it's always analyzing your blood, and someday it will tell you, well, there is a slight change in your values. It could be this, 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 and this. It hasn't to be this and this and this and this, but maybe you should check this. Then you're going to check this and nothing happens, it's fine. But other way down, it would, yeah, there is something going to change. That could mean it's the early stage of cancer. And as we all know, cancer is a fucking damn bad disease. And it's like an asshole. And I can tell this because I've, in my environment of people I do know and like, yeah, bad experience with that. Anyway, it's a fucking asshole. But if you imagine that this kind of technology is going to say you, well, there is the really first little thing that could lead to this asshole cancer. But if we are going to pump this one in the face right now, you will get rid of this asshole. Trust me, I would do this. And I would, you know, for me, it doesn't count if anybody else knows about this or not. Because if there is something which helps me not to get cancer at all, well, do it, because I don't care if anybody else knows it or not. So, of course, there will be privacy issues with that. But smart medicine will make our lives better in terms of how we can check our body, check our health, and just keep being healthy. And it can also help in countries who are not that, or that are not that rich, for big disease and viruses, and not to spread too much around. So, for example, like Ebola, so many people died from it. But you know, if there is a system like this, who can just give you the information in an early stage, and you can say, okay, well, there are just 20 people having this problem right now. Let's go and help them. And so the other one won't get these problems. Sorry, it would be so nice. Of course, this is like utopia, and I know that there is also so much bad things going on. But you know, this is just a little part. But I think smart medicine will be the most important stuff in the future, because I actually, going back to all these, I don't need a smartphone at all if I'm healthy. You know, I would, if I do have a bad disease, and somebody gives me a choice and says, well, get away with your smartphone or just get away with your health, I would say, well, take my smartphone, make me healthy again. It's, you know, I don't need this. Of course it helps, but you know, health is the most important thing in life. And if technology and digitalization and stuff like that can help improve all of our health, it's so great. And this is why I'm so much interested in it. And I will try to find even more articles and will add them to this video. So if you are interested in, just check this video the next few days or weeks. And maybe in the next episode of Whatever Wednesday, I will tell you again to go back to the video description that I have added some more of them. Because I think it's just, if you're interested in, just go there, read stuff and see. And if some of you is even not just interested, but wants to study into this direction, please do so. Please don't stop, don't think about it, just do, because we need it. And yeah, I think that's also a good final note. I think that all of these 5 things I mentioned are pretty nice and pretty interesting, and I think that we will see crazy things in future, but always keep in mind that this is just my personal view of it, and that I'm just emotional about stuff like that because I'm so much interested in it, and it's just basing on informations I found. So maybe you have different ones, so put them down in the comments below. I'm always interested to get new views of it. So because always check your sources, you know, maybe I just got fooled, I don't know. And another thing I want to mention before wrapping it up altogether is also that we always have to keep in mind that we do have our own decisions. So don't be afraid of technology in general, what is going on, because you can choose yourself whether you use it or not. Maybe just to give you an example again, I'm using an Android smartphone, and I'm using Google now a lot. I'm using it a lot, and I've all Google apps installed, and you know, I'm giving them my data. I know about this. I know what I'm going to give them. I know that they know where I am going every day, every minute. Am I afraid of it? No, I'm not, because it's like if I'm paying for a TV, I'm paying, like, for example, 500 bucks, and I get back a TV which is worth 500. Actually, it's not worth 500 bucks, but the company tells me it's worth 500 bucks, so I get a value for those 500 bucks. And with Google and all the services of Google, it's kind of the same, but people always forget about it. I'm giving them my data. And people then always say, yeah, you're giving the data for nothing. Yeah, they have your data, and what do you get? Nothing. That's not true, guys. What I do get is like a system which helps me every day and every night, and you know, I don't need to ask for the way, which is a little bit bad because I like getting in touch with people, but sometimes I don't want to get in touch with people when I just want to go quickly to the direction I wanted to go, and my phone is going to tell it to me. I can talk to people in another language way more easy because I can look up stuff instantly if I'm not about to know it anyway, but you know, I can use that. I can book my flights instantly on the go from my phone. I don't need to carry around paper with me because Google gives me my access code for the plane all the way I need it. It has so many advantages for me, and that's the value I'm getting back from it. So always beware of the fact that privacy is the thing which it's really important, but don't get me wrong, I just want to make sure that you do understand as well, you're not giving away things for nothing. You get back something, and you have always to decide whether you want it or not. It's your own decision, and keep that in mind for all of these 5 topics I've mentioned to you as well. It's always important to think about whether you want it and whether you are happy about the output you get from it or not. And if you're not certain about if you do need it or not, maybe you shouldn't do then. If you do think that it helps you, well, go ahead, because it doesn't matter if you're giving away data which isn't meant to be given away. It's bad in general. I mean, if you go outside and tell a police officer that he's an asshole, it's maybe not the best idea. And if you're going into the internet and telling somebody that you're an asshole and that you don't like him and that you did something bad, and then police is coming and getting you locked in for this, well, shit happens because you said it. So it's the same thing as if you would say it to the police officer on the streets. You know, if there is a rule for it, you might be aware of it. So that's just something I wanted to say in general about the topic of digitalization. And I know it's a little bit off topic because it was just a top 5 list, but don't expect me to make top 5 videos as you're used to, just like number 1, this and this, number 2, this and this, number 3, this and this, number 5, this and this, number 6, this and this, and my number 10 is this. See you guys then, bye bye. No, I'm not going to do this because I just want to give you some more information, what I do think about it. Again, nothing objective, it's subjective, so I hope you just took out something from this video, and if so, please do give me a comment. No, nothing more. I don't want you to give a like or subscribe or do whatever you want, because it's, you know, I'm not going to do this. It's the last time I'm telling you this. But a comment, I would be really happy about a comment. Just give me your opinion. Did you like the style of the video? Did you like the style of this kind of top 5? Did you Could you follow? I don't know. Just give me your feedback. I would be so happy to have it. And yeah, hear you next one. Bye bye, guys.